This is Safe Food, Safe Communities Unit 5, Chill. In this unit, we will be learning about how to chill food to slow the growth of harmful pathogens, and discussing how to safely defrost foods that have been frozen. Chilling food is an important way to keep foods out of the danger zone. Refrigerators should be set at 38 degrees Fahrenheit or colder, while freezers should be set at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or colder. Cold food needs to stay cold at 41 degrees or below. While planning for a meal, make sure that you have enough space in the refrigerator to keep foods cold. Overfilling the refrigerator can prevent adequate airflow, which is not safe. Make sure that there is plenty of space. If there is not enough space, reconsider your menu for the event. If food is being served outside or on a buffet, remember that cold foods need to stay cold. Food should not be in the danger zone for more than 2 hours. Place serving bowls in larger bowls of ice and use a lid to cover the food. It might be easier to use smaller serving bowls and replace them often rather than using a large serving bowl. Be sure to check the temperatures with a food thermometer often to ensure the temperature is under 41 degrees Fahrenheit. When foods are not going to be consumed right away, they can be placed in the refrigerator or frozen. This can make food last longer because bacteria do not divide as quickly in cooler temperatures. However, this does not mean that food will last forever. There are charts that will list food item and how long they will last in the refrigerator or freezer. This is often difficult to keep track of. When you put a food item in the freezer that you are not planning on eating for a while, label it with the current date. By doing this, you'll be able to keep track of when food in the freezer goes bad. If the food item is warm before you put it in the refrigerator or freezer, you need to cool the food. There are a couple ways to do this. First, you can put the food, uncovered, in a bowl surrounded by another bowl of ice. If the food is a liquid, such as soup, be sure to stir it occasionally. Another option is to put the food uncovered in the refrigerator until it has cooled to the correct temperature, then cover. For the food to be safe to consume later, it needs to be cooled down from 135 degrees to 70 degrees Fahrenheit or below within 2 hours, and then to 41 degrees or below within 4 hours. Use a food thermometer to measure this. Once the food has reached a temperature of 41 degrees or below, it can be placed covered in the refrigerator or freezer. It is important to keep hot foods hot at 135 degrees or above and keep cold foods cold at 41 degrees or below at all times. This includes transporting the food to other places. Use insulated bags and coolers to make sure foods stay at the adequate temperature. When foods are taken out of the freezer, they need to be safely defrosted before they are ready to be cooked. Never take meat or seafood out of the freezer and leave them on the counter directly to be defrosted. This leaves the meat in the danger zone for too long and can lead to food poisoning. There are a few ways to defrost meat safely. First, frozen meat can be placed in a plastic bag and set in a bowl of cold water. Change the water every 30 minutes, and within a few hours, the meat will be defrosted. Be sure to cook immediately. Another option is placing frozen food directly from the freezer into the refrigerator. This option will take longer than placing the food in cold water, so be sure to plan ahead. Also, the larger the food item, the longer it will take to defrost. Remember this when you are planning meals for a large group with a large quantity of food. It may take up for 2 days for a large frozen food item, such as a turkey, to defrost in the refrigerator. Frozen foods can also be defrosted in the microwave. After being defrosted in the microwave, however, they must be cooked immediately. Do not leave microwave food on the counter or place it in the refrigerator. This concludes the video presentations for Safe Food, Safe Communities.